Also, if you haven't noticed, we are filming this today because we're going to be showing it. There were a few people who were ill, and I'm sure in your schools right now there's a lot of illness going on, so we will have this available for them and also for you. If you see the presentation and once you get into it, it might be helpful to view it again. I'm very honored today, and let me tell you, it's taken months for us to do this. We have two special teachers who are here today, and I'm going to introduce them as Casey and Jennifer. They are here today to share their action research passion with you. Both of them have been implementing action research, not just 1 year, but they've come back and tried it more than 1 year. They work together and they complement each other, and they've driven all the way today from Orange County. The director of the UC Irvine region said, Nancy, I have two people I want your region to meet. They are wonderful friends of our region, and so I'd like to introduce Casey and Jennifer. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Casey Klappenbach, and this is my partner, Jennifer Santana. We are both second grade teachers at Heroes Elementary School, so we get to team a lot in Santa Ana. And so this is our third year with results for English learners in our region. And we've been part of the Governor's Reading Initiative. That's what we used to call results back in the day, a long time ago when I first became a teacher. So we're really excited to be here and be able to share our endeavors with action research. So I know it's hard to get up on a Saturday morning, so we wanted to kind of do a quick little check-in with you. All right? So we're going to start with communication check-in. If I'm correct, Nancy said that to get started, you were going back into the classrooms and trying to check out some of the things that you might want to do for your action research questions, correct? All right, so we're going to do lines of communication. I know our results for English learners group is very familiar with it. Anyone else familiar with lines of communication? All right, so this is one of our structured language practice strategies that we want to use to get us up going, sharing, feeding off of one another, giving each other ideas. So before we get started, we're going to just go over some of the patterns, some linguistic patterns that we might want to share with our partners as we do lines of communication. There's 5 that we put up here, and we just want to do where are you at, and you can either choose to say, I'm excited to investigate blank for my case study question. So you already know. You're already definite. You tried it out. You know what you're going to do. You know the students you're going to do it with, whatever your strategy is, whatever you want to do. Maybe you went back and you tried something or a couple different things and you said, I tried this and I think I'm going to try something else and see if, I'm going to do this. Or I think I'm on the right track, but I need help. Or maybe you're more in the middle. I've been giving blank a lot of thought. Right? So maybe you've just thought about something, but you haven't really done anything with your kids or in the classroom or whatever group you're in, wherever your field would be. Maybe you're down there where I feel blank when I think about my case. Maybe you feel a little overwhelmed or you have a lot to do, a lot of things going on. Yeah, I'm sure you're not alone. But today, hopefully, you won't feel that way when you leave. Or maybe you're here. I'm hoping today will help me, right, get you kind of on the right track. So this is how we do lines of communication. We're going to we'll do A-B around the room, and we'll have 2 lines, one of the A's and then the B's, and you'll be facing your partner. So Jennifer, come over here with me. And you'll greet your partner because some of you, I know there's a couple new participants who won't know each other, so you can say, I'm Casey. All right, and so the A's will go first, and okay. I've been giving, following my intervention students that need extra support in decoding, trying to follow them and see if this strategy works with them a lot. Okay.
I'm hoping today will help me plan my investigation question.
All right. And then we're going to do a callback today. So we're going to say action, and you guys are going to say research. Action, research. And so we'll switch, and where are we going to go? We'll have the B's. And the B's will just slide down to the next, and the A's will stay in their spot. So I'll stay here, she'll move down, the B at the end will come all the way here, and we'll just go. So everyone's fed off of each other. All right? We go through everything. We're going to try to, because it's so much information, and we want to make sure we do a really good job. So we're going to try to just keep moving it along so our time, so we only have an hour. Or we had an hour, but we want to thank you because we really want to make sure we're practicing our strategies that we utilize. Communication is one of our SLIP strategies from results for English learners. So the more we do it as teachers, the more we're going to do it in our classrooms. And we just wanted to see kind of where you were, but we also wanted to give you guys a chance to consult with one another, because your the biggest advantage to being able to work with other teachers or each other's information, experiences, and hopefully as you come up with your questions and change them and go through your action research project, that your individual groups will help each other refine their questions. And so maybe next time you do an activity like this, just in your group, you're actually giving each other constructive feedback to help them contain, and make sure their project evolves so it's manageable and it's useful. Because I know we started off with something a little bit more overwhelming for us.
Broader.
And yeah, and our team helped us narrow it down, and then we helped each other narrow it down. So.
And we're going into our third year of action research, and we just had our regional meeting earlier in the week, and we were doing the exact same thing, talking about where do we want to go now, and our team was questioning us, like, well, what do you think about this, or how are you going to do that? How are you going to be better about measuring your growth, and what are you going to use for tools for assessment and things like that? So it's really helping us continue to just refine what we're doing and do a better job at it each year. So your colleagues are really important in that process. All right, so we're going to share our questions that we started with you. This is the question that Casey and I have used for the last 2 years, actually. We took, as we went through our results for English learners training, there were some strategies that interested us that we wanted to kind of explore. And so we took 2 of them and put them into a question together. So our question is, how does the implementation of the question-answer relationship and rereading and re-questioning routine affect the achievement in reading for second grade students? So we have our strategy within our question, and then we also have our population in there. So thinking about who are you going to be working with as you do your case study, and what is it, the specific strategy that you're interested in implementing and studying. Okay? You have to kind of think about what the purpose of action research is too, is it's for us to learn and explore kind of things that we're interested in, how we can improve our instruction, get the most bang for our buck, per se. And so thinking about what is it that you really want to explore. Okay. So as you think about selecting your strategy, this is what really helped us. Okay. Thinking about something either that you have an interest in, using in your classroom, or learning more about. And that for us was where we started, because the rereading and re-questioning was new for us. In QAR we already knew something about, but we really wanted to implement that in our classroom. Okay. Or it could be something you're already using in your classroom that you really want to focus on and learn more about the effectiveness. And are you really getting anything out of using that? What is it doing for my students? So it could already be something that you're practicing, that you just really want to study. And last and most important is picking something that's going to be feasible for you to implement. Because sometimes we want to learn about so much, we put too much on our plates, and then you're going to get frustrated and it's going to become really cumbersome. So what is it that I can do that's going to be feasible for me to do consistently and really do a good job at. Okay?
The biggest problems our group, I think, had, especially the students, our colleagues that had a tough time towards the end, they were like scrambling to refine and stuff. It wasn't feasible to really implement. Whatever their position, whether they were a TOSA or a classroom teacher, it was something you were layering on top of something else, on top of something else. So you really do want to remember to make it something that you can easily do with your students and actually show, you can actually measure it and see if we're actually making a difference with that strategy. Because we don't want to just do an action research project for the sake of doing an action research project. We want to make sure that we're checking to see if something's actually useful and benefiting our students, right? And so, or whatever group we're in, if we're doing like a book club and seeing if it's if we're affecting how colleagues work together and looking at their instruction for students. However we're looking at it.
And I think that becomes really important for people who are not in the classroom full time. That's even more challenging. So you really have to think about who do I have access to and that I can feasibly get to regularly if it's something that you're doing with instruction. Or if you're going to partner with a teacher who's going to be doing something and you're just going to be studying the data. So you really want to think about, you know, how feasible is it for me to do this? Because I know some of them wanted to study like really broad categories like all second grade classrooms, and our district's very, very large, and that just was overwhelming for them, and then they kind of put it off, and like Casey said, at the last minute, they're kind of scrambling to figure out what data they can grab and things like that. So you just want to keep that in mind as you're planning what you're selecting for your question.
Is as you get better at it, it's better to have maybe a larger group later on, but if you really want to see if something's working in a small group setting, you might just use a small group of students that are similar or different or whatever you're looking at, so you can actually implement that strategy. So you can control it more.
Okay. All right. So that's how we selected our strategy, and because we've shared our question with you, we have our boards back there which you can look at later. Casey's just going to review really briefly what those strategies are so that you can understand how we implemented our case studies in our classrooms. I know some are familiar with QAR and rereading or questioning, and others may not be as familiar.
Does this group, Nancy, do you share out a lot of strategies from each table? Like from each
Well,
group?
we haven't really focused on that piece yet,
Okay.
So this is kind of
good. All right, so we are going to give a little background on the two strategies, and it's that we actually were investigating to see the effects. We're second grade teachers, so we know we're tested on the CST. Reading comprehension is really important to our students. They're just coming up from decoding from our first grade teachers, and we really want to see if these strategies that we're promoting, that we're learning about and using, if they're implemented correctly or at a higher level, how effective are they with our students? And so this is from results from English learners. It's our QAR, question-answer relationship. Raise your hands if you have heard of this comprehension strategy. All right, great. So basically, in the QAR, we are looking at, there are different types of questions that we ask our students. And with the QAR, we're actually labeling different types of questions because the answers are found different ways. So we have, these are the little icons that we use in our classrooms. We use the most basic types of questions, which are right there. The author tells us it's right there in the text. It's a right there question.